When did you realize that your best friend never liked you? I found out when my best friend stole my scholarship application and used it to get the full ride to college I'd been dreaming about for years. Elliot and I had been inseparable since 3rd grade. We did everything together: homework, basketball tryouts, family barbecues. Our moms used to joke that we were joined at the hip. Senior year rolled around and we both applied for this massive scholarship. Only one student from our entire district could get it. Full tuition, room, board, everything. I spent 3 months perfecting my application. Late nights writing essays about overcoming my dad's job loss when the factory closed. Getting letters from teachers who'd watched me tutor younger kids for free. I even volunteered at the animal shelter on weekends just to strengthen my community service hours. Meanwhile, Elliot kept saying he'd figure it out last minute. That's just how he was. Laid back about everything. We shared a Google Drive folder for all our school projects. Had been using it for years to swap notes and help each other with assignments. Never thought twice about it. The day results came out, I was sitting in chemistry class when they called Elliot to the office. 20 minutes later, he came back grinning like he'd won the lottery. He got the scholarship. I congratulated him, gave him a hug, told him I was happy for him, and I meant it. Elliot was my brother. If I couldn't have it, I wanted him to get it. 3 months into summer break, I was hanging out at our mutual friend Jaden's house playing video games. Jaden made some offhand comment about how crazy it was that Elliot copied my essay word for word. I paused the game, asked him what he meant. Jaden's face went white. He realized he'd just spilled something huge, but I kept pushing until he told me everything. Apparently, Elliot had been bragging about how he'd found my scholarship essay in our shared folder, how he just changed the name and a few sentences here and there, how it was too good not to use. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. All those late nights I'd spent writing about my family's struggles, the personal stories I'd shared about my dad losing his job. Elliot had taken all of that and submitted it as his own experience. I confronted him the next day at the basketball court where we always met up, asked him straight out if he'd stolen my essay. He didn't even try to deny it, just laughed and said if I didn't want it taken, I shouldn't have left it where people could see it. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. He told me I was naive if I thought the world was gonna hand me things for being nice, that he'd been competing with me all along and I was too stupid to realize it. Every time I'd helped him with homework, every time I'd shared my notes, every time I'd covered for him when he didn't study, he'd seen it as me being weak. Looking back, all the signs were there. How he'd always one-up my stories when we were around other people. How he'd forget to invite me to parties sometimes. How he'd flirt with girls I liked just to prove he could. I'd explained it all away because I thought we were best friends. That night I called the scholarship committee and reported the plagiarism anonymously. Told them to check the timestamps on our Google Drive documents. 2 weeks later, they launched a full investigation. Turns out my essay and his were nearly identical, and my version was dated 3 weeks earlier. They stripped Elliot of the scholarship immediately, called it academic fraud. The committee offered me a partial scholarship instead, not the full ride, but enough to help. By then, I didn't even care about the money. What destroyed me was realizing that my best friend of 8 years had been a snake in disguise the entire time. Elliot tried calling me after he lost the scholarship, left voicemails crying about how I'd ruined his future, how his parents were furious and might not pay for college now, but I never called him back.